welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiara, aka Bookworm Babe, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. So this is going to be a series of questions about all things bookish related now that we're hitting that mid-year point in 2021, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these tags. I think the last tag I did was probably the, I don't know, I think it was like the this or that tag I did like last year, and it was one of the earliest videos that I filmed as well. So I'm really excited to do this one. There's some cool questions on there, so let's jump right into it. So I have the questions here on my phone, and the first question is, best book you've read so far in 2021? That's a good one. I think okay, it's kind of between three. So maybe it's between four. It's so hard to choose. You know what? A book that I really enjoyed and that hasn't left my mind since I read it was How We Disappeared, and that is by Jing Lee, and it's basically a story that is about, you know, comfort women during the Second World War, and it's a historical fiction piece, but it really stuck with me. The book is extremely well written, extremely compelling, extremely, you know, it's so heartbreaking, but it's really well told, and you get so pulled into the story from the jump. And it basically follows like a teenage girl who when the Japanese come to Malaysia and have taken over that region, they went to the villages and took a bunch of girls to make them comfort women, which essentially meant that they were, you know, they were sex workers, and the job they were given was essentially to, you know, please the soldiers, you know, like every single day, and women were captured for years at a time. So just years of doing that day after day after day, and, you know, 10, 15 or more people, men per day. So you can like imagine how just how like kind of like traumatic and intense it is. So it is a really heavy story in that sense, but it was honestly such a good book. And after that I kind of went on this binge of like researching, because I never knew about the whole comfort women thing that had went on during the Second World War either. So I was researching and like watching YouTube videos. All the like researcher in me like popped out, and I just like, I don't know, I was so curious about more info on it, just because I really never knew that this was a thing that had happened during that time. So it was really such a good book. And yeah, I think if I had to pick one to say is the best, that would probably be the best one, just because it's really stuck with me since I've read it. The second question is, best sequel you've read so far in 2021? Okay, so this one I have no answer for. I haven't read any sequels actually in 2021. All the books that I've read have either been like, they've all been like one-offs. None of them have been part of a series. So none for me on that one. Next, new release you haven't read yet but still want to. I was actually really interested in reading the Obama book that had came out earlier. I think it was earlier this year, and I forget the name of it right now. It's escaping me. We have it, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But I was just really interested in that, because I'm just curious to see like what, you know, I haven't really like looked into the book or what it was about. I just know like my mom wanted it, so I bought it for her. But I think it would be really interesting to kind of hear from him and see like what the book is about, and kind of like the things that he talks about. So that was one that I really was looking forward to reading, and hopefully I'll get to it at some point during this year. The next one is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'll be honest, I don't really follow, like I do and I don't, but I don't really follow like releases and stuff like that, so I don't actually have like an anticipated release for the second half of the year, especially just because like the books that I get are like, they're all over the place. I just pick things that I like, that I see recommendations of, that are sent to me, whatever. So I don't read based on like, you know, what's new and what's out and things like that. So yeah, I don't have an answer for that one either. Next one is the biggest disappointment. So there was a book that I read this year called Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq, and I picked it up I think at the end of last year or something like that, and I read it really early on this year, and I was really looking forward to it. It was a story that was supposed to follow like a young girl growing up in Nunavut, which is in Canada, in case anyone doesn't know. It was you know, an indigenous girl, a story like that. So I was really looking forward to it. I know it was like a mix of like poetry and like actual prose and stuff like that. It actually really disappointed me because I was so lost the whole time I read it. There was a lot of like moments and flashbacks in the girl's life, and those, like, they would start off like, okay, I know what's going on, and then it would turn very like metaphorical and things like that. So maybe it was just me and I just wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't up to speed to read it. But honestly, I couldn't get into it. I finished it, but I couldn't really like piece together and make sense of what I had read. So that one was really disappointing for me because I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot different than what it actually ended up being. Next we have biggest surprise. Biggest surprise was actually 2 rom-coms that I read this year. I don't usually read rom-coms. If you guys kind of like follow the things that I read, I don't like, you just don't see me reading like romance and stuff like that. But I had 2 rom-coms sent to me by Penguin Random House, and it was The Dating Plan and then Serena Singh Flips the Script, and both of those were really good. Like, I couldn't put them down. I was so into them. I was so wrapped up in the characters. I was like, oh my god, this stuff is so cute. I'm melting. Like, it was it was so enjoyable, and it was actually nice to take a break from reading like heavier things and doing something a little more like lighthearted, and I really enjoyed them. That was the biggest surprise for me, because now I'm thinking, okay, I might have to try out some rom-coms again. So if you guys have any good rom-coms that you know of, please drop them in the comments, because I'm trying to add some more on my list, but I honestly still don't really know where to start. Those ones were sent to me, so like the curation process was done already. I didn't have to like read and like make decisions. This one is favorite new author, debut, or new to you. Oh, okay, easy one. So my newest favorite author is definitely Shani Mutu. So I mean, Shani Mutu is a huge name in Indo-Caribbean writing and things like that, but I had just like literally just like a week ago finished my first Shani Mutu book, and that was He Drowns You by the Sea, and I loved it. I loved it. It was it's the exact type of fiction that I like to read, where it's just, there's so much different like things going on in the plot, and there's flashbacks, and then the present, and then, you know, the characters, and there was a bit of a love story there too, and like a lot of culture going on, a lot of, you know, commentary on like society and things like that. And just overall, I really love the book, and I'll talk about it of course more when I do my June wrap up, because this is still, you know, part of my June reading. But I really enjoyed it, and like I said, it was my first time actually reading one of her books. I have a few of her books that I've picked up, but I hadn't actually dove into any, and I loved it. I seriously loved it, so she is definitely a new fave for me. Next is newest fictional crush. I don't have a fictional crush in any of my books. They're all way too intense to actually like have a crush on the characters, so I don't have one for that one. Newest favorite character. Let me think. My newest favorite character might have been Maverick from Concrete Rose, because I read that earlier this year, and he, like, you know, he's young, he's a teenager, now he's a father, and it was just like, you know, like, you relate to, like, you kind of just relate to like being like young and confused and like, yo, but I want to do this, but like now I have responsibility and stuff. And I just really like the way his character was developed, and I guess he would have been my favorite like new character or whatever, just because I really enjoyed the book and I found him relatable, even though like I'm not the one who's gone through like this situation, not even close, but I just really enjoyed his character. So yeah, that would be that one. Book that made you cry. How We Disappeared made me cry. Oh my gosh, Leaving Atlanta by Tayari Jones. I pulled it up. Leaving Atlanta made me cry. If you guys haven't read that, look it up. It's so good. Song of Solomon made me cry. I think The Dating Plan made me cry, no lie. And I think that was it so far of what's made me cry. So those books made me cry. The most beautiful you've bought or received this year. Most beautiful book that I had this year has probably been We Mark Your Memory, because We Mark Your Memory, which is a book that has all these different, it's a collection of like poems and fiction, non-fiction from the descendants of indenture. And the cover, I really love the cover because actually I'm gonna show you guys what the cover looks like. Maybe you can see, I kind of like pulled it up on Goodreads. I don't think you can really, it's just because it has like two, you know, people who are very like traditionally dressed and they look like, you know, exactly how you picture indentured Indians. So it felt really like, wow, I'm looking at my ancestors type of thing to me, and I really like that. So it was a book that I bought. It wasn't gifted or anything, but it was probably the most beautiful like cover to really like take in. And the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? By the end of the year, I need to finish reading all the Shani Mutu books I have on my shelf, which I think I have like 2 or 3 more. No, maybe it's just 2, but yeah, the Shani Mutu books I have on my shelf. I have a couple of other Caribbean like books that I have on my shelf too, and I definitely want to get through those. The names are kind of escaping me right now. And what else? Oh, and I guess what else would be like the books that I've been sent to review. I have to definitely get through those because like I've been sent them, so I have a duty to review them as timely as possible, so I have to get through those as well. So yeah, that is it for the end of this tag. That was pretty cool actually. I wanted to just do something chill today, and I happened to come across this tag on YouTube, and I thought it was really cute, and I loved like listening to people answer and everything, so I just thought I'd jump in and do it as well. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the mid-year book freakout tag. Probably not next week I will be posting, but the week after will be when I post my June wrap-up, so do stay tuned for that. I hope you all have a like great end of the month and enjoy the start of July, and I will see you guys very soon. Stay safe and take care. Bye.